Alrighty. Hello everyone, and welcome to Pool of Radiance, AD&D's very first official AD&D rules video game. The game will start when I begin adventuring here. If we can count down the timer. in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, let's go. Okay, so this is Pool of Radiance, the very first game in the Gold Box series. There are 4 games that you can continue your party through, beginning at first level adventures and eventually getting all the way up to level 40 if you complete Pools of Darkness. It's a very, very old game, as you can see. I have sound turned off because it saves 15 minutes. Luckily, High Spirits has found the NES soundtrack for us. There was no music in the original game, which is one of the reasons why I run no sound. There's no music anyway, and the sound effects are super minor. So this allows us to go very fast. There's a huge amount of lag created by the sound. Thanks to Silent Sigil for finding that for me. First thing we have to do is buy some equipment. So this takes place in the universe of Forgotten Realms on Faerun, the well-known continent in the world of Forgotten Realms. It takes place near the Dale Lands on the north of the Moon Sea in the city of Flan. Flan has been a hub of civilization for many hundreds of years and has been conquered by monsters several times and has been abandoned for the last couple hundred years because of the monsters taking it over. So now humanity and the other races have come back to try and take the city back. And so they've been hiring adventurers to help clear the city out, and we are amongst those adventurers being hired. It's caused by sound lag. The game has to individually load up each individual sound every time it's played, and so it doesn't seem like much, but it adds up huge amounts of time. Very old games, and they're good old things. So the party we've constructed here is a party of 3 human fighters and 3 half-elves, 1 cleric fighter and 2 fighter mages. The game runs on original first edition AD&D rules, which is extremely weird, extremely frustrating, and also extremely sexist and racist. Humans are better than every other race, with the exception that they can only be one class at a time, and females have less strength than males and no benefits for that problem. So we have to unfortunately run like this. We've maxed out our stats because the game lets us, and that makes it faster. So now their first quest is to explore the city of the slums next to the civilized area and clear it of monsters. Combat's going to go very quickly, thanks to this being an old DOS game. DOSBox actually slows this is the GOG.com version, which slows the game down a little bit, but it's still fast enough for a very good speedrun. Now that we've cleared out this area, we can sleep here so I can memorize my spells. It's quicker and faster to go do this than to go to an inn and do it beforehand. Now I need to clear out the slums to get a safe area and to get some quick experience. I have 2 fighter mages who are able to cast the sleep spell at level 1. Sleep is way OP because there's no saving throw, and it allows you to insta-kill any monsters that are sleeping, no matter what attack you have. So 2 fighter mages. Regular mages are really awful in the game at early level. They have a couple of good spells, but then once their spells are done, they can't do anything. But by making fighter mages, the one good thing about multi-class in first edition AD&D is that they have all the benefits of the classes and none of the drawbacks. So my fighter mages can wear plate mail, wield longswords and shields, and cast spells just fine. They'll only get half the experience, though, but we get enough experience over the game for the most part to get them to levels that are respectable. And they'll be useful throughout most of the game. Unfortunately, these monsters ran away. There is a morale factor. They can also surrender, which is much better. They instantly are defeated if they surrender, but since they ran away, we have to chase them down. And my AI is not great. Now, goblins are great because they have bows and arrows that my other characters can pick up. I can't afford bows for everyone at the beginning. Bows are pretty good early items. I have to beat 15 random encounters for the quest, otherwise I don't want random encounters because they are slow and don't offer very much. I need to get a couple of levels pretty early on in order to just get the safety net that I need, and those... But fighting random encounters doesn't give you a lot of experience. Fighting battles doesn't. You get most experience from collecting treasure, especially magical items. And the quests give treasure, which is how you get experience in the game, so... Let's see. Yes, actually I do want to take that leather armor because it's magical. Okay. Now I have a little safe place that I can sit, and we have to grind out 15 encounters so that I can clear out the slums and not have to worry about random encounters anymore. And I need to turn on search to increase my chance of finding monsters. Each step you take on the map takes 1 minute of time. If you search, it takes 10 minutes, but it greatly increases your chance of finding both treasure and monsters, if there is treasure to be found. Wish is in first edition, but it wasn't put into these games, not even in Pool of Darkness, because it's too complicated a spell to use. Okay. There are a number of other Gold Box games that were made as well, the Dragonlance ones, as David TKI is saying. There were also a couple based other in Forgotten Realms, Gateway to the Savage Frontier and Treasures of the Savage Frontier. But this was the first of its kind. It has a lot of flaws in it. Among other things, they only have the 4 basic classes: Fighter, Cleric, Magic User, Thief, and then the split classes. I have no Thief in my party because Thieves are pretty much useless in the game. There's only a couple areas where you really need Thieves. There are lots of locked doors, but my Fighters do better bashing them open than Thieves could do picking them. And there are no traps to disarm in any place that I go in the game, so Thieves are just useless. Thieves don't have a whole lot going for them in first edition. They're extremely weak. They do have backstab, but it's hard to set up. So it's better just to go with Fighters. I have one Cleric, mostly for a couple of safety reasons. A couple of times I need his spells. They have some uses, but... That's good. Yeah, no Crowville Mansion. Crowville Mansion is a huge pain. I am more off and on playing with routing 100%. Crowville Mansion's one of the worst places in the game. So party comp is 3 fighters to just get straight experience. They're human fighters, so they can get maximum strength of 18,100 for most damage, good hit points. I have 2 fighter magic users, so I have 2 sleep spells that are useful for putting enemies to sleep, and later on casting Stinking Cloud to deal with higher level encounters. And then 1 fighter cleric just basically as a backup safety. Okay, that's arrows for everyone, which is good. And having all fighters at this stage of the game. Now, if you're going to higher levels, multi-racial classes, non-human races, I should say, cannot level up anything beyond, like, level 11 at the very most, except for Thief. So having a non-human, non-thief is very inefficient to playing the game, unfortunately. But in Pool of Radiance, our maximum level is pretty much at the same place as the maximum level of these races anyway, so there are very much places where they're useful. Looks like just one sleep spell's all I'm going to get off or need here. Unlimited Adventures was a lot of fun. They had pretty much all the best stuff in that the Gold Box games had and let you create your own worlds for it. I played around a lot with Unlimited Adventures as a kid. Surprised by goblins again. Very convenient. Yeah, it was very silly. It's one of the things they fixed in 2nd edition, which I'm very grateful for. And also the female being very weak thing, because it's a lot more fun to have a variety of characters than just a bunch of boring human men. Although a lot of boring human men is a lot of... Okay, he already used it, so that's all the cure sleep spells for now. I do use a Cleric Fighter Mage in my testing of the 100%, because you get so much experience from running every quest that you'll probably max out even a triple class. In fact, I've been practicing that with a party of all fighter mages. All men is not a bad thing, it's just all men all the time. Actually, most of my World of Warcraft characters back when I played it were human men, so... Okay, oh, I need to cast Cure Light Wounds as well, and I keep forgetting. Memorize my Bless spell, not that I've needed it, so... Anytime you clear out a room in the Slums area, you can rest just fine, which is why I use this area, because it is... Oh, that was wrong. Different areas of the game, different zones, have different rules for random encounters and for, yeah, pretty much useless to do another sleep spell now. That's fine, though. One sleep spell is good, two is really good at this point in the game, which is why I have 2 fighter mages. The Slums is pretty simple. Once you've cleared out a room that has a set encounter in it, you can rest there fine. If you rest in any of the hallways, you'll be interrupted by a random encounter. Once you fight 15 random encounters, you don't have to fight anymore here in the Slums unless you sleep. Oops. The other one wants to cast, yeah. No, he is the one who needs to cast. Darn it, I keep doing that wrong. Oh well. Well, I should be able to get at least several. You have to be careful with where you place spells, because there is no friendly fire in this game, protection from friendly fire, or whatever I should say. If you cast a spell and your party is in the AoE by it, they will be affected by it, so... This is actually a main quest. I have to clear out 15 encounters in order to do the Slums. Otherwise this grinding is nearly useless because it takes 2,000 experience to level up my fighter, and I get about 50 experience per battle, so these things are not worth very much. But this is the only place in the game where I have to fight random encounters, so I'm just getting them all out of the way because the random encounters will get harder if I level up before I finish them. So getting them out of the way is the best thing for the speedrun. Okay, time to rest for days on end, because we are very hurt. Resting for days is the fastest way to heal in actual real time, because it takes so long to cast and rememorize your spells. Unfortunately, I always lose track of my count of how many random encounters I've done, so I just go until I do about 20 trips through the door and nothing has appeared. I should have changed the colors on these people. I'm used to having different colored characters. I name them after the colors, and that helps me identify which ones are the mages. Is the screen stuck? Did it go funky again? Nope. Okay. Rise party of orcs. That's good. That lets me get my sleep. Okay. Now it's zoomed in a bit. Jeez. Yeah, that looks rough. There we go. Thank you, High Spirits, for doing the necessary legwork to make this function. Oh, darn. That was one of my mages who went first before I could cancel as quick. Well, that's the danger of having fighter mages who, on quick combat. Nah, I'm not gonna need it here now. Too many of them are dead. Quick combat way. Having quick combat is very convenient for a speedrun as well. For the most part, your party members will kill everything they need to. There are certain fights where I'll need to manually control them for greater strategy. I don't need any treasure. Being approached by some angry kobolds. We'll just do that group. Kobolds, no take candle! I'll take all your frickin' candles. So yes, this runs on first edition AD&D rules, which if you aren't familiar with, have some very odd things to them, like exceptional strength, and of course the great Thaco mechanic, or Thaco, depending on your pronunciation. Fighters only get, if they reach an 18 strength, they get to roll exceptional. And the difference between exceptional strength and normal strength is pretty extreme. A 18 strength gets +1 to hit and +1 damage, +2 damage with melee weapons, while an 18-100 strength gets +3 to hit and +6 damage, which is one of the reasons why humans are the only race who can hit 18-100 are so valuable as fighters. And again, only human males can. And yes, Thaco 2-hit armor class 0 is a very weird mechanic. Rather than counting up like sensible people, and they do in the later editions of D&D, armor class starts at 10 and then counts down, and the lower armor class you have, the better. 0 is the midpoint, even though it's an incredibly armored person, and you're rated on how hard it is to hit somebody who's 0, and then each point above it is 1 point easier to hit, and each point below 0 is 1 point harder to hit. It was just all around better when they switched out from that, but it's one of those charms that if you're a dedicated old-fashioned D&D nerd, you still like Thaco just for the nostalgia of it, because it's just one of those things you had to experience. Yes, that is true. TSR did start wargaming, which is one of the reasons why SSI was good to pilot the game into real computer driven rule set, because SSI was originally a wargame company before they started making RPGs in the late 80s. I might be done with grinding. Looks like I have no encounters, so that means I'm done. Okay, now it's time to take out the normal encounters. Actually, I want to go this way. Actually, no, I don't. I've suddenly become lost for the first time in forever. Okay, here I am. So here's a moderately annoying encounter. Luckily, there's a lot of orcs in this room. Luckily, they are not positioned too badly. This game actually has some really in-depth tactics in it. There's things like hidden morale meter that monsters have. There's a lot of options you can do. To end your turn, you can guard, which means that you will actually attack the next enemy to run up and melee to you. You can also delay your action until later on, as I just did with this mage, so that I could hit a group of orcs with sleep once they gathered. Yeah, weird saves and stuff. That's another first edition D&D thing. Rod staves, wand save, death saves, paralyze saves, spell saves, breath weapon saves. Yep. Yes, but the normal encounters will actually give us loot and including magic items. We finally get our +1 weapons here, which 2 is going to tell us what they are. So Questing gets a magic broadsword and magic chainmail, 4 gets a magic broadsword, Glory gets a broadsword, and 2 gets a magic flail. Just because. Dropping the weapons just for inventory management. Money in the game is not super important, because the only thing you use it for is leveling up. I'll need a certain amount, but once I've hit that threshold, I don't need any more. It takes 1,000 gold to level up. It's one of the weird quirks in first edition game, which is very annoying. And if I have to go to a training call and spend 1,000 gold in order to level up, so that's where all of my money is going. There's nothing useful to buy after your initial foray to the shop. You can buy like more arrows or stuff if you need to, but... Okay, so these are magic arrows and a magic short bow, so I can ditch that one now. Yeah, it's pretty crazy. But, since it's the only thing you can really spend money on, what's worse than the fact that training costs all that money is that there really is nothing else to spend your money on. There's no shops that sell magic items or anything, so you're given all this treasure and it really doesn't mean much. You're just looking to find magic items because you're not going to buy any in a shop. This isn't Final Fantasy where the next town is the upgraded weapon for you to equip. The even better thing about it is that if you... Yes, actually, we do want to take that. Bracers are super expensive. Those are 4,000 gold all by themselves. That's 4 levels. 2, give us another Cure Light Wounds. Darn, not lucky. Cure Light Wounds is the only heal spell in the game, which is why healing is slow. It only does 1 to 8 points of damage, no bonus, no increase, no matter what level you are. And it's the... Again, we'd never get Cure Serious Wounds, which is the next one in first edition. Now we're going to go through a secret door, collect another magic short bow for a quest, and some loot that I almost forgot to get. Here's a quick, easy combat, especially if I can get a sleep spell off before they move. Magic bows are not supposed to increase damage in D&D, but in this game they do because they're bugged. They also stack with magic arrows, so magic bow and arrows can do a lot of damage. Though you don't get a strength bonus, so it's not as much. Okay. 3 main encounters left in this area. This is a very annoying fight because there are some orc leaders in the back with bows who are going to shoot at me. Otherwise, there's a lot of orcs in a very congested hallway, so it takes a while to get through all these guys. Now I just have to hope I don't get hit by too many arrows. Usually this fight means nothing, but I have been shot down even with my 0 armor classes by these orc archers. Composite bows do give strength bonus in later games, but in this one at least they do not. Composite bows do nothing but have slightly more range. Short bows do the same amount of damage as long bows, just 1d6, so that's why I bought short bows and why I'm using these magic short bows, because the long bows have a better range and that's it. Yeah, unfortunately I don't have grenades yet. This is one of 3 fights in the game where it's super useful to have like a fireball spell, but it's way too early to have fireball, of course, unless I were playing on a New Game Plus, and in that case I would just run to the end, because there's literally nothing you have to do to win the game. The only thing I'm doing is collecting experience so I can go get the item that will let me win the game, and then I'll go win the game. Yes, this one especially has lots, but you haven't seen anything yet. This is a small room compared to a couple of the fights we're going to be in later on. Oh good, the orcs are starting to surrender. They actually surrendered instead of run away, which saves a lot of time. Very useful. No loot on these guys. Ooh, wow, we got double hurt, though. One of the bad things about not having sound is when I used the sound before, I was able to, I didn't even memorize Bless. I was able to tell a little bit when people are taking damage or not, which I can't do with no sound, but it just goes too fast. Okay, here's a semi-difficult fight if things go very bad, but it's usually pretty easy. Well, my fighters are just killing everything right now. We're just gonna kill the ogre. I can put the ogre to sleep if I'm very lucky. But, because he has 21 hit points. That's how absurd sleep is that it's insta-death no matter what. If I have a normal magic user using a dart, which does 1d3 points of damage, and she or he throws the dart at a ogre who is sleeping and has 21 hit points, it one-shots them. One of the ways that they changed the game for the better versus normal D&D is you don't die when you go to 0 hit points, you instead go unconscious. And I forgot to memorize that. Oh well. And if you go below, you are dying, but there's a bandage command you can use to keep somebody from dying. It will basically just make them go to unconscious at 0 hit points. To die, you have to go to -10 hit points, which is pretty hard to do, especially at this in this game with the little damage these guys do. So you do miss out on experience if you're unconscious, which is bad if you're in a boss fight with treasure, because that's the only place you really get experience. This fight used to be difficult. On my old route, I used a human mage to try to get the fireball spell before I found other places that are easier to get fireball at than grinding up to 5th level. It could be dangerous because she could only put one of the groups of goblin leaders there to sleep, and then they would pepper her with arrows. Yeah, there is a hit dice limit in this edition as well, but it's pretty high. It's about a little more than 4 dice, so you can put ogres to sleep, but nothing bigger than that. I'll be fighting trolls later on, and unfortunately they're immune. Yep, this room at least. All of these monsters have a population problem, though. Okay, my 3 archers here need some more arrows, because they've used up a lot. I used to take arrows from pretty much every group of goblins I fought, but now I think I've got... Okay, that's all the arrows we've got. Running low, but that should be enough for the rest of the game, I hope. Ooh, he's running kind of low. Okay, and now the real loot is in this room, though. We're going to get a magic shield for questing and a scroll with a pretty powerful magic missile spell on it. I'm going to be using that later on. Okay, now we're going to do a new strat. I've gotten slightly lost. I know where I'm going, though. Okay, now we're good. Luckily, since I did all those random counters, I won't get any more. I need to heal up, though, before I do anything else. I forgot to heal up in that room. As well as memorize. Okay, now we're going to do the one semi-required quest in the game. Shops are open shops are usually closed, but temples are open at all hours in case you need healing in the middle of the night. And you can do things here like identify items, which I'm mostly doing just to change out money. Well, if you spend money at all, it changes all your money from larger sets into smaller sets. Who has? He does. Okay. Full share. 300 platinum. Okay, that's enough for now. Okay, let's see. Can you? Yes. I can level up my cleric for 1,000 gold. My magic users can't level up yet. Wow, that was odd. I'm trying to hire an NPC here to help out in the next fight, but it seems no one will go with me. I wonder if it's because it's in the middle of the night. So I need to burn some time. Swordsman, no. Hero, yes. Okay. Hero is lawful evil. Keep that in mind. We don't want him using a bow, so we're going to get rid of it. We can't take his stuff right now. Unfortunately, they're not. They don't allow you. The game is not that broken. However, let's see. I forgot which one's best. I think right in the middle is actually where I want him. We're about to find out. Okay, so now we're going to Sokol Keep. Sokol Keep is on a little island out in the bay, and there's a ghost here that is preventing ships from sailing away. So there's a quest to deal with the ghost here. He's a specter, actually, if we're being technical. The other undead will leave me alone if I give them a password, which is on the body over here. You also have to translate it. Luckily, you know, guides and game facts will have all that info for you. Okay. Now, let's see how lucky I get here. You want to see a horde of monsters. That's this battle right here. Go ahead and quick combat, shoot some people up. That was good. And this was indeed perfect placement. Excellent. That fighter is going to charge in for me and prove a nice little barrier. The hero is apparently a lawyer. I'll eventually use Sleep Spell once enough monsters are gathered around me, but for now, all we can really do usefully is shoot them. This is a really awkward fight because of all the enemies in the way. Now, you may have noticed the isometric view of these battles makes it the semi-isometric view, I guess, how they try to make it look semi-3D. It creates this weird little effect where formations are not straight when you're diagonally, and that changes up where monsters can attack you and such. So the reason that I was grinding at the place I was is because going north to south, I'll always fight, you know, top, bottom, and in that way, if I fight a group of goblins with 4 goblin leaders, they're all in melee with me, so they aren't able to use their bows. But if I went to the side, like this battle is, one of them would be 2 squares away from me, so he'd be shooting me with his bow instead, which is both more dangerous and wastes arrows that I might want to collect. Yeah. So the reason he's called Hero is because in first edition D&D, all of your classes had different titles at different levels. So a swordsman is a 3rd level fighter, and a hero is a 4th level fighter. A superhero is an 8th level fighter. So you can hire up to 2 companions and have up to 2 NPCs in your party as well. They're always computer controlled. You can't take their equipment, though you can drop it. They take a certain number of shares as well as a share of any experience. This battle doesn't give a lot of experience anyway because there's no magic in it. Also, he may not survive the fight. I'm hoping he doesn't. But there's definitely a use for a 4th level fighter in +1 plate mail with a +1 two-handed sword. Okay, this is just about the point where sleep spells are starting to become useful. They're not as effective against hobgoblins because of the number of hit dice they affect, but I could still get a pretty decent group of these. In normal modern normal person lingo it is, but in first edition D&D, a superhero is a 8th level fighter. Put those guys to sleep. I'm not going to do another sleep spell yet. I forgot to memorize another spell too, but I only get another Cure Light Wound, so it doesn't matter. Bouncing lightning bolts off of walls is a lot of fun. Sadly, there's no places in the speedrun where it's really useful. Partially. We'll see if it happens. I'll be able to loot his body if he dies as well. And having +1 plate mail right now would be really, really nice. So, yeah, while I'm not doing very much here, but watching my characters fight on auto, anyone else have any questions about First Ed or anything that's going on? Yeah, well, it takes a while to even get to the level where you could use Lightning Bolt, and none of my characters will actually reach the level to use Lightning Bolt anyway by the time we finish the game. The places where they'd be most useful are the places where you don't have them. Very complicated, weird fight here. But anyway, time to mention, Sokol Keep is the first place you get to use the clue wheel. If you remember playing this game as a kid, you probably had the clue wheel that you had to use to match up to answer the copyright protection question at the beginning of the game. They not only required you to do that before being able to play the game, luckily this edition disables that feature, but you still maybe have to use it if you don't use guides and stuff, because there are certain points of the game where they give you clues using these this clue wheel situation, and you have to translate runes and stuff in order to give passwords, as I did here. There's 3 passwords that you can search for at the beginning of the keep. You don't know what they do, though, without trial and error or a guide to tell you. And the funny thing is, one of them is kind of useless, because that password, when it becomes viable, the person tells you it without the runes, so... Boz Draconians, I know nothing about. I have 3 fighters, 2 fighter mages, and a fighter cleric. The fighter cleric is the most useless overall, kind of fungible, but having the bless spell and detect magic is useful. Later on, hold person has a couple of emergency uses. 2 fighter mages allow a lot of sleep and stinking cloud, which is by far the best way to deal with a lot of these people. Okay, about time to use another sleep spell, I think. Hopefully soon here we're going to start getting some surrenders. But goodness, this is apparently not going great, because we haven't been killing too many of them. You can't do much except shoot. Okay. You don't have you've used your spell, cast, sleep, There's better. That would make it pretty tough since we use mostly fighters. But yeah, there aren't any Draconians in Forgotten Realms, so I don't know very much about Dragonlance, although it would be interesting in probably sometime playing and maybe even speedrunning the Rin series. Good, they're starting to surrender. This fight's pretty much over. Not quite over, but close. Let's see. There, I betrayed and killed the lawful evil fighter. Now I get to take his +1 plate mail and two-handed sword. Also, he doesn't get any experience. I think I get experience for him too, actually. Okay, we talk to these ghosts, collect some gems for money and a bit of experience. Now we talk to the spirit who's haunting this place. We tell him the password of Lux and tell him that we're taking back the city. And he tells us that, okay, he's going to make sure that he's not going to haunt our ships anymore so we can go out. And also, he's going to tell us where we can find the magical treasures that are hidden here. So now we get some more +1 chainmail. We get a +2 mace, a +1 shield, +1 longsword. Trade that to quest. Drop yes. Ready chainmail, shield. You'll ready the shield eventually. Oh yeah. Trade that to glory. And trade that to continued. Now, -4 armor class. He's pretty buff. Okay, now I can go back and turn in. This will give me another level or 2. If I know where I'm going. I swear I do. Samo Sud, password now. Luckily, after you say the password once, they let you just say, do you give the password to the skeletons? And they leave you alone. That was a pretty rough fight. I took some damage. Luckily, it's daytime, so now I can turn in. This is where you turn in all quests to this Kirk lady. 1,300 experience for the treasure she gives us for completing that quest. She tells us what quests are available. You don't need to receive a quest to be able to complete it, by the way. There's some quests that they never actually give you, even. Okay, do I need to... anything else? I don't think I need to identify anything else. I'll need to take some jewelry, though, to sell. You have to appraise jewelry to sell it, and it has a random value. We got some good rolls there, that's good. So 600, we have enough to level for our main characters for most of the game now. Okay, let's see. Can't quite level you, but the mages can level. Now I take Magic Missile, because Magic Missile is best spell. Not so much in this game, but it definitely is still useful. Oh, I did want to recruit, I forgot. Okay, now we've got some hit points. Now we can take on the last fight in the slums, which is pretty tough. I have to come back for my... I'm going to hire another hero now to help me with the troll fight. Evoker, no. Robber, no. Swordsman, no. Robber, no. Hero, yes. Oops. Okay, I need to find... oh, what horrible hit points Questing got. He's only got 28. Okay, now I need to memorize my spells. Bless and Cure Light Wounds. 2 magic missiles for this fight, because it's guaranteed damage, even if it's not much. Rest for a few more days. Yep. If you saw what happened to the last hero, you know exactly what's going to happen to this one, too. Once, this is the last time I'm going to hire a hero, though. Before we go fight the trolls, though, we have to collect an item. This guy totally gave us this quest to get a potion for him, even though we've never talked to him before. Olo sent us. We swear he did. So he gives us a potion. We give that to Olo, and that is the last quest needed to clear the slums. Once we deliver that, and after we kill these trolls. And all told, that'll get us close to 4th level as fighters, which is most of the experience we'll need in the game. This is a maze-like area I always get lost in. I'm pretty bad at navigation. It's amazing I only need a map for one area in this entire game now. Okay, here we go. Okay, let's see. You just have a short bow and arrow, so you can't do much. So, let's see. A manual. Shoot the trolls. Trolls are super nasty. Trolls, Oh, I forgot to take away his arrows again. Blast it. Oh, that's very bad. Okay, I need to equip his weapons first. I did that last time, too. I remembered before the first fight and then forgot before the second fight. It's perhaps even more important here. Okay, let's see. I'm gonna leave this ogre alive to serve as a barrier to prevent more than one troll from coming at me at a time. I could attempt to use a sleep spell to keep him asleep, but it's generally not worth it. As much guaranteed damage on trolls as necessary. They regenerate. They can only be killed permanently with fire, which I don't have, and I did not want to move him up, actually. I don't know what I'm doing. Ouch. Okay, he can't cast now. You are the one who needs to move up. Now, luckily, trolls will not get up if you stand where their corpses are, so standing where I am, I'll be able to prevent the trolls from getting up and attacking me. Pretty soon, the ogre's going to decide to try to run away. Yo, he surrendered entirely. Okay. Alright, now I get another suit of +1 plate mail, another two-handed sword +1, a magic longbow, this is, oh no, that's his regular longbow, and 2 magic user scrolls. I could hit pay dirt here, but it's not likely. Alright. Sleep spells are better for the next area. 1 magic missile isn't bad, though. Rest for a few days to heal. Yeah, it's pretty and fascinating that this game actually has enough data in it to keep track of where trolls are and how many hit points they have even when they're dead and not on the screen. They change things around a little bit in every edition, but essentially here they stop regenerating if you get fire. This is the guy who wants the potion. We just give it to him. We don't ask for more money because we don't want to fight. We get, what? Another magic user scroll. Let's have Quest get that. So I need to identify those to figure out what they are. He kicks us out, but if we go back into the room, he's not there anymore. He's gone. Okay, with that we've cleared out the slums. And this has gotten us a good little bit of experience. Need to identify these scrolls and see what they are. Except for the cleric scroll, they're useless. Could potentially be healing, but it takes too long to use anyway. 3 spells on that one. I want to go back to my normal arrows for now. Speaking of which, let's go ahead and trade those two because he was getting really low on his arrows. There, now he should have enough for the game. Questing isn't going to use bow anymore because he has a +2 sword. Yep. Okay, let's see, share 400. That'll be enough for now. They can't level up anyway. He can level up his cleric. Can the fighters level up again? I believe they can, yes. So, anything I need to... Ready. Okay. Chainmail +1 is the same as banded mail, but it allows you to move faster. Magic armor lets you move faster than non-magic armor by 1 step, which is 12, 9, 6, 3 is how it descends. Banded mail and chainmail are 9, but +1 they are 12. Okay. Now we can rest anywhere in the slums. We don't have to rest in a place we've cleared. No monsters will bother us, so... There will be no more hero killing over the course of this adventure. We're all done with them. Now we're going to go do a hidden quest. Kuto's Well area does not have any quests that they give you for it, but when you clear it out, they do... No, I do want to go this way. They do give you a reward, so it's a minor quest. It's pretty easy, worth a bit of experience, and makes the next area a little bit safer for travels through to come. Now I'm going to need to do save and reloads if I get bad encounter luck, because fights here can be long and tedious. It's faster to quit and reload my game. This fight encounter is set. It's not a it's a set encounter, not a random encounter. So we kill a lizard man and a few lizards. That's the way the new Pathfinder Kingmaker works. It's like, oh, you're an evil being. I'm going to attack you immediately without any negotiation. This is a lawful good action. Okay. Yeah, it's a pretty new strat I added in, thanks to some work by Silent Sigil investigating some of this. So we come in, save this witch. She has some magic items we can find. They were more valuable to me back when I had mages, but they're still pretty nice. Oh yeah, the +1 banded mail especially, I forgot about that. Trade that to Glory, which is going to be 1 better than the +1. Now everybody's going to have magic armor. Good. Means they're a little faster. Oh yeah, another thing I need to do is check out these spells. Actually, I can do it this easily here. Lightning Bolt. I got a Lightning Bolt spell. Okay, that would be... and they each have a Lightning Bolt scroll. Okay, that could potentially be useful. Okay, now we try to enter the well and kobolds come out. Here's an interesting thing about fighters. Fighters that are above 1st level in 1st edition can sweep small enemies, like kobolds. can see them attacking multiple times there. That's because they're sweeping small enemies that they're adjacent to. They can attack a number of enemies equal to their level if they're all adjacent to them. And they're small. So, we clear out the kobolds really fast. A second band of kobolds attacks. They're going to go down about as quickly as the first. Yeah, the new editions, at 3rd edition, they stopped using Thaco, but 1st and 2nd edition still use Thaco. Technically, 1st edition didn't use Thaco, they just had a 2-hit table, but because it's a lot simpler than having the table, they use Thaco in this as well. 2nd edition had already come out. Ooh, I took damage, that's rare. These goblins come out and shoot arrows at us. Do we surrender or fight? I think we fight. Okay, we can cast a couple of sleep spells on these kobolds. Oh, I forgot to memorize my hold person spells. That's unfortunate. Not a big deal, though. Two-hit tables are so super complicated. They work essentially the same way as Thaco, but when you get to absurd armor classes like -8 to -10, they just stop increasing the amount. That's the only difference between them, really. Yeah, illustrations in this game are great. Good old 16-color DOS games. He has a magic longsword. I want 2 to have it, I think, just because. Nothing else good. Here, at least. He has a treasure pile over here. We take it. Voila, more treasure. Share the money. Now we can sleep down here in the well without any problem, so we're going to do so. Memorize. His bless spell, 2 hold persons, and a silence just in case. Hold person and silence 15-foot radius are my break in case of emergency glass spells. I prefer not to rely on them because they can be resisted, but they can also paralyze enemies and make them super easy to kill. The mage spells are generally a little more reliable. Now we climb out of the well. Unfortunately, whoops, I climbed down the well. It asks you to climb down after you've already climbed up. I need to save in case of encounters. If monsters surprise me, they will attack, and those fights are long, and I'm going to skip them. Pretty good encounter luck here. That's nice. Now we go back and turn this in. That'll get us another level for our mages, I believe, and our fighter levels for those guys. Let's see. New items. Sell the bracers. I need to identify something to spend my to change my money. Okay, there we go. Almost as much money as I need for the entire game already. Whoops. I accidentally missed my steps. I am forgetting the most important thing about stepping in here. They automatically turn you south when you enter, and I was turning and leaving instead of going south. Talk to this guy just to get rid of some additional text later on. Now, they can't level up for a little bit. I can't quite level up my mages yet. Very unfortunate. Okay. So I guess it's off to Yarash's pyramid then. Once I level up my fighters. My dual-class fighters. Multi-class fighters, not dual-class. Dual-class and multi-class are 2 different things. Especially in 1st edition. Humans can be dual-class, but when they change classes, they lose all their abilities. Later on, they'll get them back. It is a worthwhile strategy sometimes. Okay, now we're going to do a high XP quest in order to get us the last couple levels we need. This is a very easy quest, and I forgot to save before it, so now I'm going to have to fight this fight. Well, only 2 Displacer Beasts, that's not bad. This should go relatively quickly. Although Displacer Beasts are almost impossible to hit with arrows. And before I kill them both with my archers. Yeah. In the later game of Pool of Darkness, it can actually be really powerful to dual-class fighters into something, but... Okay. Save so I don't have to worry about any more encounters. So, anyway, we're going to this island where this mad wizard has this pyramid, and he's polluting the river, the Barren River. And with machinery, he's using to turn lizard men into mutant lizard men. So we have to go through this teleporter maze. Luckily, it's really easy if you know the secret. Throw a stone, move on, all 3 times. There's only one turn you have to take over the course of the entire maze if you're doing it right. Throw a stone, move on. Throw a stone, move on. Now we have to put in the password to avoid the copyright protection boss or we get insta-killed. We really mean knock knock. Here's the machinery that's polluting the river. We're going to leave it. We're going to move away quickly and not destroy it. We can advance this guy, which actually moves him towards us. That's right, I don't have that. Good thing I have those scrolls. I'm probably going to use them. Ooh, I missed. That's not good. Because he can use his wand, but it didn't work. He has a wand to paralyze, which is bad. I am going to actually... So somebody wanted to see some lightning bounce off of walls. You're about to see that, something I rarely get a chance to do. Ta-da! Yeah, they're only fighters, magic users, clerics, and thieves in this game. You don't get paladins and rangers until Curse of the Azure Bonds. Okay, one more bracer. Let's have quest take them this time. And the wand. Potions for questing. Okay, now we get to loot all his stuff and we'll see if we get super lucky. Ring, two-handed sword, flail. Basic kind of stuff. Boom. Elsewhere. Now we loot the silver room. Change the teleporter setting. Search the second room. You get 3 random magic items in each area. And now, finally, gold. Magic user scroll, battle axe, and short sword. Not much. I'll have to find out what those are. They could be useful, but they're not super great. Okay, yeah, I do want to rest just in case I get bad things. I'll need my hit points back at some point anyway. That is interesting. I've never used that, but that's a possibility, I suppose. There is a sort of glitch exploit in this game I can use too, but it doesn't save any time. You could actually multiply your equipment by giving it to another character, removing them from the party, and then loading a save game where you didn't give them the equipment. So, hey, look, even though we didn't destroy the machinery, the river is fixed. Hooray for plot triggers not being what you think they are in these old games. We're surprised by a group of kobolds. Okay. Too many kobolds. I apologize, High Spirits. Hopefully the game keeps itself fixed when it comes back. It usually does. Okay, now we have to... There's so many places you can enter the city. We have to come to here and take the boat. Now we're back in civilized area. Oh darn, it's nighttime. I need to go rest. I can go level, I guess. I can use the this place. Let's see. Oh, I exited. Yes, I see Keeling. Pool my money. View items. Let's see... I know what that is. Okay, magic is control with 1 spell. Let's see if I got lucky. I could have gotten lucky here. Who else has items? Studded leather +2 is just selling. Ring of feather falling isn't useful. Ring invisibility is kind of useful. I'm gonna trade that to my cleric. Can probably get the most use out of it. Make him slightly harder to hit. You didn't get anything, interestingly. And the potion. So, nothing really good. Only one +2 item. No +2 weapons or anything. Longbow +1 is pretty good, at least. Let's go ahead and trade that to 2. Oh, 2 already has a +1 short bow. So yeah, we'll give it to Glory then. So Glory's going to be a perma archer now. +1 longbow. Okay, I now have all the money I need in the game. I'm gonna wait until... Actually, it would be good to do this first. Let's see, I need Stinking Cloud. I need Stinking Cloud. Let's see, begin... I don't think I can... Oh, I can level to level 4 Cleric. Okay, that's gonna be his limit, though. I can't go in there until it's daytime, so I need to spend some time. This actually will do it pretty quick. Here we go. 5,700 experience for completing that quest. Yeah, it'll get some more experience. They want me to clear out the graveyard. I tell them I will, but I never do. The graveyard sucks. It's the worst place in the game. Probably even worse than the final area. Okay, now I can level again, but not them. Okay. So now I need just a couple more mage levels and I'm done with the game. So now it's time to go... Actually, I need to see if this scroll has Fireball on it. If it does, I can immediately go to my next quest. If it doesn't, I need to do something else first. Encamp. Scribe. Detect invisibility. Awesome. Super awesome. Okay, both of your scrolls are worthless. Oh yeah, I was not... good thing I didn't do any fighting with that scroll in my hands. If you keep a scroll in somebody's hands, they don't do anything. They just attack with their fists. That's bad. Okay, yeah, I need to go there now. Okay, encamp. Magic memorize. I can memorize Bless, another Cure Light Wounds, another Hold Person. Okay, Stinking Cloud. Stinking Cloud. Time to go back through Kudo's Well. Hopefully no encounters. Good, lucky encounters on Kudo's Well today. Now I'm in the library. The library is not dangerous for the most part anywhere you go until you try to leave or if you search certain areas. There are basilisks in here which can be bad. Now I'm coming after a scroll that's guaranteed to have Fireball, so I can use that spell in an important fight. Here's a Hobgoblin attack. We're just probably going to... let's go ahead and cast this... Oh, I cast Stinking Cloud instead. That's bad. Oh well. I forgot that I had Stinking Cloud now. I did it again. Stinking Cloud is a useful spell that can paralyze multiple people in it. Weirdly, the AI is better in this game than it is in the sequel. In Curse of the Azure Bonds, enemies will run full pelt into Stinking Cloud, and your characters will too if you put them on auto. But in this, they will totally avoid the Stinking Cloud. It basically serves as a barrier once you've eliminated all the enemies inside it. It is possible to murder the guards and get great stuff from them, but it's a little bit risky for the speedrun. Doesn't really advance much, and you have to solve problems for it, so it's not something we ever do. We only betray and murder... Oh, god. I forgot to save. How many hobgoblins? Not too many. Hopefully this fight won't take long. My fighter with the +2 mace charging forward because he feels a +2 mace. The AI is determined by the... They assume that a regular bow is better than a +1 sword for fighting, but a +2 melee weapon is better than a normal bow. So basically, a bow counts to the AI as a melee weapon 2 better, or 1 better at least. So you have to have 2 better, or else they choose ranged over melee for their actions. Yeah, I don't... Well, I've tried it before. There are a couple things that were in there. I was using it for experience. I don't anymore. But yeah, you have to go buy the silver mirror, and then it makes them easy. If you don't buy the silver mirror, of course, you'll get turned to stone, and that's very bad. Starting with him is nice. Because I'm fighting a cleric here, which is potentially dangerous. Let's see. So, my cleric can possibly hold person. I might be able to sleep her. Nope, of course not. Ah, good. Hold person. If you cast that one person, it has a better chance to have... Okay, good. This fight is done now. My mages can cast a few sleep spells and stuff to make dealing with these groups a little easier. Yeah, Akbar, I've routed the Curse of the Azure Bond speedrun, and I do not ever get Akbar Belakash in Curse of the Azure Bonds. He is... The worst part about Akbar is that the AI is horrible with AoE spells. You never want to get an AI wizard. And you also have him during the area where you're fighting Dark Elves who have 50% magic resistance. So most of the time they just totally slough your spells anyway. Potion. We don't want anything else here. Okay, now we've got our Scroll of Fireball, which will allow us to deal with a very large group coming up. Makes that fight go a lot faster, and there was another quest I used to do here, but I don't really need the experience for it anymore. Oh, golf. I didn't save again, so I'm going to have to fight this. That's a lot of them, too. Well, they're not that tough right now. We're pretty high level. When I played casually as a kid, I always took Akbar because I was into the story and I wanted Akbar to help me. I always took away his AoE spells, though. I tried to get him some other harmless third-level spell like Haste instead that I could cast before a big fight. I love these magical relocking doors. All these doors that are locked in the slums relock themselves every time you leave, even after you've cleared it. So, who is locking the doors? We don't know. It's magic. Okay, I don't have enough experience to go to level 4, but that's okay. I will from the next area. So now we're going to pick up our one useful companion. We're not going to betray this guy. This guy's a good guy, and we're going to try and keep him alive. We do want to go back and memorize our spells, though. So back to the inn. I mean the slums. Stinking clouds. Sleep, sleep. I forgot to bless before that battle, too. Oh well. Luckily, the docks works even at night, so... we want to go to the bay now. 2 can pay for it, that's fine. Let's see, we go to the south. Now, in order to clear out this area, we only need to do 2 encounters. This one right here. Hopefully Durton will not cast Prayer, that's all we're asking for. Actually, we'll just kill them. Hold Person is great, go ahead and hold some orcs. That makes them insta-killed. Didn't even work that time. Funny. Now, if we got lucky, we got a holy symbol. They never tell you if you do or not, though, is the weird thing. I used to get it. I got it like 5 runs in a row, and I haven't gotten it in a while. We didn't get it. So we have to fight these guards. If you get a holy symbol off of that fight, this blind orc finds your holy symbol and decides he must be good guys, and so you skip this fight. It's total RNG. Oh, darn, he used Prayer. That's the spell I didn't want him to use. I wanted him to use the... Now, it may last. It's hard to tell when effects last in this game, but it lasts a pretty long time. I can still have him cast Bless, though. Unfortunately, he used up all his hold persons already, too, so... he can use Cure Light Wounds, though. 2 hit points. Awesome. Okay. Alright, here's the fight we used Fireball for. You wanted to see a horde? Check this out. Okay, are you the one with the scroll? Yes, you are. I don't know which one it is, though. Let's find out. Not that one. Right off the bat. So useful to have it right off the bat. Okay, let's see. Yeah, it's about the same either way, isn't it? That'll get him, though, so that's the one we want. Not anymore. You wanted a hand grenade? Boom. It affects... Its AoE basically affects everything on the screen except for the 3 corner pieces of each corner. Now we just have to hope that Mace doesn't go and cast Hold Person before we get a chance to fight back. Oh, he could have cast. I forgot that's one of my spellcasters. That's why I gave him that. Okay, Stinking Cloud. Let's hope. Yes, Chokes and Gags. Battle is won. I can still cast some sleep spells, though. These are fanatical orcs, so they won't surrender, so clearing out a lot of them at once is a very important strategy. Yes, the AoE is only two hexes away outdoors instead of 3, so it affects a much smaller area. Semi-realistic effect, I guess. I don't have to worry about sleeping my characters anymore because they're too high level. Oh wait, he might not be, that's right. Oh well, he didn't. Because they count as 4-hit die monsters. Okay, now we'll clear them all out. Delayed Blast is pretty awesome because you can delay it to go off instantly, while normal Fireball has a big casting time. Luckily, though, it's instant cast from a scroll. I came up with this strat after in Yarash's Pyramid, I found a necklace of missiles, which, in the game, if you find a random item necklace of missiles, it lets you cast an infinite number of fireballs. And so I suddenly didn't need to grind to level 5 to get Fireball anymore, and it saved 20 minutes right there. Since then, I found another guaranteed spot, and now Durton leaves the party so he can do this temple. This used to be a temple to Tyr, a good god, and so the people of Tyr want us to take it back for them. Let's see, just that scroll is all I want there. But you can also... after the city was taken by the monsters, they desecrated the temple and turned it into a temple of Bane. So we were given this mission to take Durton over, clear the temple out, and they're going to restore it. So the quest is done. I need to actually memorize after I level up, but I didn't cast any. So now that we've done that, we have the broken item that is going to win us the game. Yeah. If you're really super strategic, delaying a fireball can be useful, but in a game like this, with just the way monsters charge and everything, and how you always start in close combat, yeah, there's no point to doing it. It's just super useful to be able to cast the spell immediately. Oh, did I get a battle axe +2? I didn't notice that was +2. I ought to trade that to 4. I need to find out which of these potions are which. Okay, that's speed. Trade speed to 4. Dust of Disappearance is super duper awesome, in case anyone didn't know. You're about to see how awesome it is, because now we're just going to win the game. Oh, we're going to level up first. Just our wizards, though. We can't level up our fighters any. Okay, training our wizards. Strength. Doesn't matter what I learn at this point. I don't use any other spells. If I wanted to go into the library, I'd need to learn Knock. It's the only way to get into the library. But now I can learn an additional magic missile, and actually, I need to get rid of my sleep spells. Because they're useless. Magic missile is not as useless. I'm only fighting higher level things now. Oh, I need to memorize one more of each for him, too. So now we're just heading for endgame. I'm just going to combat these guys. Going well enough, I'd rather not reload if I don't have to. Definitely don't because of that. I haven't been able to. I've tried to break it with 1800 strength, and I have it on 3 fighters, and they weren't able to break it. Or at least maybe there's a chance of breaking it, but I've just rolled badly. Knock is guaranteed, though. That is interesting to know. I didn't know that that was the reason why you got so many monsters. But we do edit our stats to get maximum because it allows you to do so. The game reason for allowing you to modify your stats is so you can make somebody just like your favorite character. But why would we, have wanted to have anything but the maximum stats? So that's what we go with. AD&D First Edition is really bad with stats too. If you don't have high stats, your stats are useless. They have to be at least 15 to get any sort of actual appreciable benefit. A 14 is no better than an 8 for dealing damage with strength, for instance. It's really pointless. And the curve between 18 and 18100 I've already talked about. It's +1, +2 versus... disguise ourselves as monsters here. This is a plaza where an auction is going on. We ignore it, though. We used to do this quest, but... Okay, now the problem is... that it's nighttime, and I need it to be day. I forgot about that. So I'm just going to wander around. Charisma affects... if these guys see through your disguise or not. You have to be abusive to the monsters. If you try to be nice to monsters, they know that you aren't nice. They know that you aren't a monster. So now we've got a wagon, which will allow us to sneak past the bugbear guards. We have to bribe them to take us past. Sometimes they'll see through your disguise. Very rarely. It's happened to me once before. Very annoying. Now we're going to continue our disguising. 3rd time in a row. We're going to come to visit these nice laundry women. We're nice to them. They dress us up as monsters. We then leave. Now we head straight for the gate. We give them the password of Rhodia, which we totally learned somewhere. You actually get it from the fake councilman. That guy I talked to a while back that I did nothing with is an evil member of the council. He's plotting with Tyrant Draxus, but eventually he betrays him, and if you save him, he gives you the password to the gate here. But if you just know it, you can just use it. The hedge maze is the one place I still need to use a map for a little bit. You can try and cut your way through it, but they're like poison, so it's not very pleasant. Okay, we're through. Now we go through this secret door, up these stairs. We don't go down those stairs. We turn and go through the secret door instead. Up these stairs. And now over here is the area with the final boss. So, we're going to use a potion of giant strength. We're going to use a potion of speed once we ready it. Some potions you can use without hands, some require hands. I don't know why. And now 2 is going to cast Bless. And here we go. Final 2 fights. Tyranthraxus sends his guards after us. We have used Dust of Disappearance. This makes us invisible. Meaning, these enemies can't see us, they have a much lower chance to hit us, and they can only attack us if they are right next to us. Since they can't see us, they don't even move around to try to get to us, even if their allies know where we are. However, we're fighting 12 8th level fighters with 87 hit points, so we have only 6 characters who are all 5th or 4th level fighters. So it's a rather unfair fight. Good thing we're invisible. Helpless, 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 helpless. Oh well, let's finish him off. He surrenders, yay! So, now that we've killed them, they have +2 two-handed swords and +3 plate mail, so why not? Oh, +2 plate mail is all it is, not +3. They have +3 rings of protection, which do no good when you're wielding +3 plate mail, but... Now we all get an individual choice to attack or join Tyranthraxus. Anyone who chooses to join Tyranthraxus actually joins this party. He's in the body of a bronze dragon, which would breathe fire or lightning on us for 80 points of damage, but since he can't see us, he can't breathe on us, and therefore, boom, he's easily dead. It's not time yet. Mortally wounded, the dragon roars. The spirit of Tyranthraxus flares up from the dragon's body. I can't skip this text, so I always say it. Fools, you have but slain the body I possessed. I cannot be defeated. With the power of the pool of Radiance, which I moved here to my lair, I will still rule by possessing one of you! Stinking Cloud is super duper awesome in this. No, Lord Bane, I can still rule here! Ah! So now we go back home triumphantly, none of the monsters bother us. We report our success, and time is after, is when I receive 45,000 experience. Boom. Time. And so that's the game. We've defeated. We can still run around and play if we want to, but this is an officially finished party. If I remove these party members and put them in my party pool, and I can't use them again in Pool of Radiance, I have to transfer those character files onto Curse of the Azure Bond. So at that point, the game is done. So thank you all for having me here. What was my final time? I didn't see. 129, sub 130. That's pretty good. That's my third best time ever. So, again, thank you all for watching, and thanks for all the subscriptions I got. I saw I got a bunch of those over the course of the run here, and continue watching Questing for Glory. We still have several days left. Do not mix Poexel's Final Fantasy VI run coming up. That is going to be awesome. So, yep, I'll probably be in chat watching here in a bit once I get me some dinner and stuff. So, see all of you later.